I never gave the guy much respect. Totally changed my mind. It really did. He had a lot more
Prominent
Favre
Cowboys
qualities in
hater.
him. Well, I'm just saying that's the way we grew up because they were always kicking us to the playoffs, Brandon. But honestly,
Yeah.
he didn't get the respect for being an Iron Man the way Brett Favre did. And when you go and watch that was on, totally different perspective
Yeah.
now, man. Totally different.
Yeah. Well, as you know, living in Buffalo, I was 17 years old when the Cowboys beat the Bills 52-17 in the Super Bowl. I was 18 years old when the Cowboys beat the Bills 30-13 in the Super Bowl. So I know a thing or two about Troy Aikman, and it was the Super Bowl 28 between the Bills and the Cowboys. The championship game was played 1 week before the Super Bowl, not 2 weeks that particular season, because they were experimenting in 1993 with 2 bye weeks. So that season there were 2 bye weeks, so it pushed the Super Bowl to be 1 week after the championship game. So anyway, Aikman suffered a concussion in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. That's when Bernie Kosar came in and helped the Cowboys win that game. But Aikman came back the following week. Maybe he never would have been able to do that nowadays. But anyway, he came back the following week and helped Dallas beat Buffalo rather easily.
I mean, it's just sad that he had to retire because of concussions. Him and Steve Young,
Dave,
took a lot of punishment.
That's the real diamond in that thing. They had a piece at the end, and Aikman, like his older self, it was like the present, literally came out and said, everybody says it was the concussions. It wasn't the concussions that made me retire. I retired because I was sick and tired of being the only adult, so to speak. That's more than his words, but the only adult left in the building of the Cowboys. After Jimmy Johnson went, he didn't get the Barry Switzer he thought he was going to get, and the problems kept coming. And he literally said it had nothing to do with the concussions. He basically was fed up with the way things were going, and was sick of the losing and sick of the attitude in the building and the complacency with, the losing and the crap going on. And so he walked away. I couldn't believe it because for all these years, that's been the story. But out of his own mouth, he said that had nothing to do with it.
Well, you learn something every day then. I always thought it was the concussions. I appreciate that.
I always thought it was because he could have the opportunity to broadcast football games with the incomparable Joseph Buck.
Oh, you just made me get a little down whenever he called my game.
But anyway, back to the current Bills, because we all
way to go, Brandon. You set him off.
Back to the current Bills. So what? Who do you think is taking the next jump, Brandon? Either both offensively and defensively. When you look at this roster, because it's there, like you said, you're pretty talented. So where are you kind of now that the 53 set? Who do you think is going to be the ones to step up on both sides of the ball and help this team take that next step? Maybe not to the playoffs, but actually to be maybe more of a threat in that aspect.
Well, I like having center Mitch Morse. I think if he's healthy, he's the best center in the AFC. I like Deion Dawkins. I think he's a star in the making along the offensive line. I like the quarterback. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's obviously got to work on his accuracy, but he's a good power passer. He's a smart quarterback. He runs the offense well. He does what Dable wants him to do, and then he's great at improvisation. And he can run for a few yards. So he's going to be something. I think he's a potential Pro Bowler. I love John Brown. I think he's a good deep threat. He's the perfect kind of receiver for a guy with a cannon like Josh. And I can't tell you enough about the defense. I mean, I go back to Jerry Hughes. I think he's the best kept secret in the NFL. I also like this kid from Stanford, Harry Phillips. A good player. Daryl Johnson was a 7th round draft pick, and he made the team because he was impressive in camp. Lorenzo Alexander gets better with age. And then I've already mentioned the DBs. I love the DBs on this team. I think that second corner is probably going to be a weak spot. Like I said, they might have Taron Johnson or Kevin Johnson, but that might be where teams attack them.
I have a guy that I have been watching. I don't mean to interrupt, Brandon. I got to say this. I have a guy I've been watching, Robert Foster. He is a big body wide receiver that pulls a lot of 50-50 balls down. I saw in preseason and in training camp. I think he is getting more snaps by midseason or late in the season.
Yeah, Foster's a nice player. He's got great speed. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I think the Bills are, like I said, they're a potential 9-win team.
How do you feel about the depth overall on this roster this year? Looking at it from right now.
The offensive line depth is probably going to be an issue. That's the definite weakness. Offensive line, that's the biggest question mark right there. So we'll see what happens. But if any of these starters go down, we're going to be in a world of trouble.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I wish there was a little bit more depth on some areas for y'all's roster, but I mean the starters. You look at the starters, and especially with the Colts going down with Andrew Luck. In my playoff spots right now, I replaced Indy with Buffalo on the 6th spot because I had Houston winning the division already, and I had Indy coming in as a 6th seed. But with Indy dropping out, I actually moved Buffalo from the 7th spot to the 6th spot because I had Indy dropping 3 spots in the rankings.
I can't wait, man. Let's go back to the playoffs.
I know you're excited. I'm excited for you.
Yeah. So I think that's a legit possibility. So I like Tennessee in the South Division. I think that as long as Mariota stays healthy and does his thing, they'll be fine. Their defense is excellent. I like Pittsburgh in the North to edge Cleveland. Until Cleveland beats Pittsburgh, I'm not picking Cleveland.
Yep, so we need to see it in the regular season. Yep.
Yeah, that's just part of my soul. Maybe Cleveland's got a better roster, but I'm not doing it. You're not going to trick me. And then I think the Chiefs and the Chargers will both get out of the West.
I agree with that 100%. I think the Chargers, even as a wild card, is one of the most dangerous teams in the whole NFL. And they're banged up still, but they still have a better roster than about 90% of the teams. It's just them putting it together at the right time.
Yeah, we'll see what Gordon does. It seems like they're looking to move him. That's what
they gave him permission to trade him. Yep, they gave him permission for him to seek a trade.
Maybe McCoy will end up there.
That actually wouldn't be bad because Eckler is more of an inside the tackles running back, and Shady. If you put a receiving back in Rivers' offense, I think it could be dangerous.
Oh, we'll see, man. And then let's see the Chargers, and then what do you think of the Jets? Where do you have them?
I have the Jets going. I have them going 8-8. Because of the fact I still think there's just not enough wide receiver talent right now. Robbie Anderson, he's good, but to me he's just not a wide receiver one. I'm not a big fan of Anua. Chris Herndon is out till week 4. So, you look, yeah, they have Bell, but, I mean, when you have no receiving game, you can't stretch out the field. And you can't rely on Bell to be split out on the outside the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree. We'll see what Bell does, though. I mean, that's one of the more intriguing things in the league, isn't it? We don't know what we're going to get out of Bell. We don't know what we're going to get out of Darnold. I think the Jets are going to be a fun watch every game, Some teams you go into the season and say, I don't really care to watch. Like Miami, nobody wants to watch their games. But the Jets games are going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I think especially with Quinn and Williams, yeah.
The Colts are another team. Who's going to want to watch them? I
mean, everyone keeps saying Jacoby Brissett, oh, yeah, well, he might still be able to do something. I'm like, I watched Jacoby Brissett 2 seasons ago, and he did nothing. So nothing's going to change for me because I've seen him play before.
Yeah. I will tell you this though, if you have T.Y. Hilton on your fantasy team, Brissett only looks at Hilton, so that might be a good.
Yeah.
he loves going that way.
Eric Ebron's value just went down.
Well, that's the big difference, isn't it? Holy Lord, did Luck do a good job in red zone passing to the tight end?
Yep. He had Doyle looking good too.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, we got about 5 minutes left, 4 or 5 minutes left with you. Is there any? Oh, you're awesome. Is there anything that you wished they would have done or wished they wouldn't have done when it came to their roster breakdown?
No, I have no complaints. I think my biggest surprise is that on running back, they let go Perry, but they had Perry with an injury settlement, so maybe he wasn't healthy enough to stick in there. And then they let Murphy go, who was a pretty good provider of depth for them last year and had a pretty good camp. They had Wade, who was the import rugby player, who he had a pretty good camp too. He was a very exciting. Fans loved him, but ultimately, one or two of those guys, Murphy or Wade, one or two of them will probably end up on the practice squad and probably see some time for the team. Or maybe they see a running back from another team they want to pick up to add some depth. But am I upset by anything? No, I think they did fine. I don't have any issues with any of the cuts. They didn't cut the next, Tom Brady or Adrian Peterson. Let me put it that way. That anybody that got cut on this team was a marginal player.
Well, see, there you go, folks. Even Brandon's got. He likes what.
What's
they
your
did.
prediction for the record?
9-7.
Okay. Yep. 9-7. You said that. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know if you felt a little better after talking about it.
Yeah. It would be funny if we talked about it. I ended up lower.
Then I'd be worried, Brandon. I'd be like, someone check on this man. He's a doctor, but someone check on him.
Talk him off the ledge.
No. I think that 8 of the best 10 teams in the NFL are in the NFC, to be honest with you. So I think the AFC is there for the taking. I think other than the Patriots and the Chiefs and maybe the Chargers, the Bills are right, have a shot. Have a shot at getting that wild card spot.
I think they do, man.
All right,
I really
Brandon.
do.
We got a minute left before we got to let you go and move on to the next special guest. So just give everybody your final word on what your last thoughts, and tell them how to get a hold of you on the net.
Yeah, check me out at Spot_Bills on the Twitter. And what we're doing now are fielding requests. I have like over 200 requests right now, so I'm not going to probably get to you, but unless you really are really excited or whatever. But I've done like 54 playoff games in 54 days, and then I did the 27 college championships in the last 27 years. And so now I'm just asking my followers, give me a team from any season, from any sport, and I'll give you a 2-minute report on them. And like I'm overwhelmed by the amount of interest. So tomorrow I'll be doing the 1977 Raiders, which was a team that was the defending world champions, and they got kind of a bad deal on a bad call in the AFC Championship game at Denver. But it's an interesting team to look back on. It was John Madden's second last season as head coach, and it was the team, really the last good team that he coached, and before Tom Flores took the job. But maybe you'd like to listen to that summation of the 1977 Oakland Raiders.
And there you go. You make sure you go follow Brandon at Spot_Bills. You have to follow this guy. Not only is he one of the smartest and most knowledgeable just sports people I've ever been able to talk to in my life, you are absolutely 1,000% Twitter platinum funny, man. and I can't
Yes,
thank
they
you
did.